Their job? Scoring goals. For 60 years, Bundesliga strikers have been judged by that. No matter how they play, in the end, it's just the goals that count. Gerd Mueller understood that like no other. The nation's bomber who set records for eternity. His goal tally in the league is still unmatched. He scored a breathtaking 365 times in 427 games. Mueller was top scorer 7 times. He scored 87 braces, 7 perfect hat-tricks and 32 more trebles. Gerd Mueller and goals. A love story that will endure despite his untimely death in August 2021. The league bows to his legacy. Many of the records seem unbreakable, and that's true even for Robert Lewandowski. With 312 goals in 384 games, he's the only player who's ever come close to Gerd Mueller's total. And he was able to take one eternal record off the bomber. No one had ever managed 41 goals in a season before.
The record they said would never be broken is now his and his alone.
A goal and a title machine. His 10 Bundesliga titles make him the league's most successful foreign player. Unforgettable. The best 9 minutes in Bundesliga history, in which the Pole scored 5 times.
Oh, they haven't got it clear, and the ball's in the back of the net again. Oh, he just can't do it.
When Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang first stepped onto the Bundesliga stage, he announced himself in spectacular fashion. In his first game for Dortmund, he scored a hat-trick against Augsburg.
Right place, right time, for Dortmund, the right outcome.
And it was the start of an emotional relationship. 95 more goals were to follow. No wonder the fans loved Oba. Also because he was extravagant, no regular player. Sometimes he was Spider-Man, then Batman, and he always had his Robin, Marco Reus. In 2016-17, when he finished as top scorer with 31 goals and broke Lothar Emmerich's age-old Dortmund season record, he finally became a black and yellow legend. Dieter Müller would have also deserved the plaudits that Aubameyang received. The then Köln player achieved something that hasn't been done since. He scored 6 goals in one game against Werder Bremen on August the 17th, 1977. But only the fans present in the stadium saw it. No TV cameras were there to capture it, so only photos remain for posterity. Those Köln fans will never forget it though. And no one will ever forget him either, especially not in Cologne. Lukas Podolski, a striker whose playfulness is infectious. As the first and only 18-year-old to score 10 times in one season, he fired himself into the hearts of the Köln fans back in the 2003-2004 season with spectacular strikes. He was awarded Goal of the Month 13 times in total, 7 of which he scored in the jersey of Köln.
Podolski! That's a fine finish!
What Poldi is to Cologne, Klaus Fischer is to Schalke. With a spectacular 535 Bundesliga appearances, no other striker has been on the pitch as often as him. He was only Bundesliga top scorer once, but he did score particularly beautiful goals, preferably bicycle kicks. No other player is associated with that move as much as Fischer, who incidentally scored against 32 different clubs, which of course is a Bundesliga record. Jupp Heynckes scored 220 times in the Bundesliga, putting him 4th in the list of goal scorers. Heynckes liked to score twice or more. He managed to do that 51 times. Only Gerd Mueller and Robert Lewandowski bested him in that regard. But Jupp Heynckes was destined for greater things. As a coach, he was to leave his mark on the league like no other. He has a total of 1,038 Bundesliga appearances and 518 wins as a player and coach combined. He won 4 championships as a player and 4 as a coach during his career, a unique record in the history of the Bundesliga. Miroslav Klose knows all about flying high. His trademark goal celebration was a front flip, and he had plenty of occasions to show it off. Germany's all-time leading scorer, had his best ever season for Werder Bremen in 2005-2006. 41 goal contributions, including 25 goals scored, and that saw him crowned as top scorer in the league. Klose was a team-oriented striker. 80 assists underline that, but he preferred to score himself, often with his head, resulting in his trademark celebration. Manfred Burgsmueller was more of a down-to-earth type, one of only 5 players to score more than 200 Bundesliga goals. He got 135 of them in a Borussia Dortmund shirt, which earned him the club record. When Manny died far too early in 2019, at the age of just 69, the Yellow Wall dedicated a choreography to him. It doesn't get much bigger than that. He goes down in history as the oldest brace scorer in the Bundesliga. At the age of 37 years and 263 days, he scored twice for the last time. This time for Werder Bremen, against, of all teams, Borussia Dortmund. Talking of old, this man was 40 years and 227 days old when he scored his final Bundesliga goal. It came in a Werder Bremen shirt, and the scorer was, of course, Claudio Pizarro. No other non-German player has played so many Bundesliga games. He made 490 appearances for Werder, Bayern and Köln. During his career, the Peruvian won 6 Bundesliga titles and is Werder's undisputed record scorer with 109 goals in 250 games. It must have felt like deja vu for the Augsburg defence when Erling Haaland made his debut in January 2020, and like Aubameyang, scored a hat-trick in his first match, and that was as a substitute.
What a debut for Erling Haaland! They wanted to see him, they wanted to see what he's got. Well, he's got a hat-trick on his debut, that's what he has.
After that, the goal scoring continued, and the Haaland phenomenon took its course. The youngest player ever to score 4 in a match kept on smashing records, hitting the back of the net every 87 minutes.
The Scandinavian sensation finds the net.
That's the best rate among all players with at least 25 goals. No player needed as few games for his first 62 goals as Erling Haaland did with 67 matches. Dortmund fans would have liked to have seen a few more, but Haaland left in 2022 to join Manchester City. You love to have them on your team, you fear them as opponents. The most legendary strikers in 60 years of the Bundesliga.